everybody, and welcome to this Oakland Weather Blog podcast on this upcoming winter weather event for Monday evening into Tuesday morning. So, what we'll go ahead and start out with is basically get y'all into what winter weather mode and precipitation type. So, odds are you may have seen something like this on a broadcast, but basically, this is showing the different types of precip. And what's going to be crucial is where the upper atmosphere is freezing at in this event, and how deep the non-freezing layer is, if there is any present. That's going to affect whether you see rain, drizzle, freezing drizzle, sleet, or snow. All precipitation types are very possible with this event, and the timing when this precipitation occurs is very crucial to what you will see. So, this is just adding to a very complicated setup. It's crazy that we're even talking about winter weather after the nice weather we've had today with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. So we're talking about a 30-40 degree temperature drop just to get freezing precipitation on the ground. So keep in mind as we go through this video, none of these details are set in stone. This is just the best idea we have at the moment. So we'll go ahead and move on to the model graphics we have here. Let me get on the right screen here. Okay. So what do I want to show you? Let's look at the simulated reflectivity for this event. Then I'm going to start you off here about now, and as you can see as we move through the event, it just kind of starts to bubble up this precipitation type. So it's going to be a light rain, or light precip I should say, to a drizzle. So it's not going to be anything heavy on your precipitation, but it's going to be precipitation. And now we are starting to get an idea, okay, there's going to be precipitation. But what do we have next that we have to have? We have to have the cold weather. Well, let me go ahead and show you this cold weather here. So, we'll watch this slam through. Like I said, nice weather, 60s, 70s today. And boom, by tomorrow, we're in the high 20s by late afternoon. So, not fun at all. It's going to be a miserable day tomorrow and into Tuesday morning. But after the event on Tuesday, temperatures will start to creep up and get back above freezing. So, that's the good news. This event will not be a week-long event. It's going to be a Monday evening and Tuesday morning event. So, that's good. And now I'll go back to this map here, and we're going to show you the model estimate precipitation accumulation. So this is if everything fell as pure water, which those questions I've alluded to about that. But as you can see, we've got generally under a quarter of an inch of precipitation expected to fall. So we're not talking about a lot of precipitation. We're talking about just a little bit. Enough to maybe cause some complications on your drive-in tomorrow. So just something to keep aware of. Now, next I'm going to show you what we call atmospheric soundings, and this gives you an idea of the vertical profile of the atmosphere and where exactly that freezing line is going to be at in the upper atmosphere. We're going to have cold air at the lower atmosphere, but where that freezing line in the upper atmosphere arrives at is going to affect this whole entire event. So, this starts out at about 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s, and as we progress throughout the day, you can see temperatures fall like a rock. In about 10 hours, so your Monday evening, you're going to be below freezing. Now, this is going to be kind of the onset of the precipitation right here. So there's a couple of interesting features I want to point out here. We're near freezing at the surface, so This is from Norman, by the way. So, where you're at in relation to Norman, generally, if you're to the north and west of Norman, you'll be below freezing. South and east, you'll be slightly above freezing. That's not a hard and fast rule because there's urban heat island effects that affect it, but generally, this is going to be pretty close to freezing throughout the state. So we do have that lower atmosphere, near surface conditions, that will freeze the precipitation when it hits the ground. Especially on elevated surfaces, you're going to start to get ice accumulation before you will on roadways or other grass surfaces, as we have to get that heat out of the ground first for anything to stick. Although this precipitation is going to be very cold falling from the sky, so it won't take a ton of time to lose the heat from the ground. We're talking about 3 hours maybe before we start to see some minor accumulations on grass, and 4 or 5 hours before some bridges start to get slick. So, as we continue throughout this sounding here, you can see we're above freezing from about this 700 to this 850 mark on the side. So this is kind of what we call the mid-atmosphere. And if we were to the right of the blue line, that's what we're going to call above freezing. So any precipitation there will melt, so it won't fall as snow. But with this, as soon as it goes back, it will start to refreeze. And the deeper this layer is, it will fall as ice if it's deep enough. Or if it's just barely cold enough and shallow, we'll see freezing rain start to accumulate. So here is more of a what I would call a freezing rain profile due to the large heat and then a not very cold atmosphere below it. So early on we're looking at freezing drizzle transitioning to freezing drizzle. But as we move on, that cold layer starts to overtake it, and we're starting to see more of a sleet profile. So as we move throughout the event, then everything gets to the left of the blue line, and we might see a few snow flurries at this stage in Norman. This is from the NAM forecast model, so depending on which model you look at, you'll see slightly different answers and solutions. So in each one of these say something slightly different. So precipitation type is completely up in the air. We have an idea, but we don't have a solid confirmation on that. So again, by 4 p.m. the next day, we'll start to get above freezing again, and precipitation will have long been over, and it will start to melt. So we're not looking at a long event at all. But if I step back through here, and you'll notice right as we start to get solidly below freezing, you'll see stout winds. These are these bar lines with smaller lines sticking out of them. This is the wind speed, and these are extremely high wind speeds. In fact, the NWS Norman has posted a wind advisory for the area. So we'll have strong winds, so any ice that accumulates on power lines and any significant accumulations can cause power outages in poorly shielded locations. So just something to keep in mind, that you may have some small power outages. We're not expecting widespread issues, but isolated events is certainly likely. So that really is the gist of the soundings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to the web browser and take you through some of the forecast discussions by the local NWS offices. So arrival of colder and windy air and potential light wintry precipitation are the main focus. We have a trough in the atmosphere, which is just going to bring down the cold front. And then we do have some low-level flow, which is returning moisture to the area. So we'll start to become saturated, and this is when we'll start getting precipitation bubbling up. There's not going to be a concentrated area where it starts to develop. It will just kind of bubble up. In fact, some of these will resemble small thunderstorms. We may see maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but nothing crazy. So yeah, basically showing the frontage slope. So we're gonna have that varying temperature profile. So we aren't gonna be able to narrow down exactly where that precipitation type is until it kind of starts to develop. And Tulsa is really saying the same exact thing. So not a whole lot of difference between the two offices in Oklahoma. Alright, so now the part you've probably all been waiting for is my forecast. So as we move back to the presentation here, first thing we'll start off with is probably the thing everybody wants to know. Is how much ice are we going to see? Well, generally we're going to put it at a glaze. Not everywhere we'll see ice, and this is on elevated surfaces, not the roadway. So, or grass. We're talking about power lines, cars. You may have to scrape your car a little bit in the morning, so on Tuesday morning. So just be aware of that. It's a possibility. Not everywhere will see a glaze of ice. Some locations may not see anything, but on average, it will be probably half and half. And then a couple of isolated locations may see up to a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation. That's what the darker purple is scattered out here through. It will just be isolated locations that we can't really pinpoint down, but I still wanted to convey that information because you can start to get some effects up when you start getting a significant amount of ice, which is generally a tenth of an inch. So just have to be aware of that. And so what everybody's asking is, how are going to be the roads Monday night into Tuesday morning? Well, for the most part, they're going to be good. Maybe some slick spots on bridges in southeastern Oklahoma, where I do think the highest chance for precipitation to occur, the highest amounts, is going to be secondary roads. Some roads may have a little bit of ice, maybe some snow on them, but nothing terrible. Just take your time. If the road's wet, it's probably going to be on the icy side. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time and you'll probably be fine. So then the next is going to be the power outage potential. Again, same thing. The higher precip areas will see the highest chance for power outages. And I put the highest risk in southeastern Oklahoma again, just because generally this part of the state has more trees over power lines, which can cause a dangerous situation. And so, but anywhere you see ice accumulation starting to approach that tenth of an inch mark, you can start to lose power here and there. I'm not expecting widespread power issues, but here and there you could see power go out temporarily. But I'm sure the energy crews in the area will do a great job of getting that restored for everyone. And so the final graphic I have is just the impact potential. I did put the power outages at 4 out of 10, just because there is that chance we get a little bit wider spread, tenth of an inch accumulations, which can cause a little bit of damage. Not expecting days without power, maybe a couple of hours here and there, so nothing too crazy. Roads, again, bridges and maybe some secondary roads that are poorly maintained. So just take your time getting to work on Tuesday and coming home late Monday, and you'll be fine. The road crews will probably have very little issue covering from this. And school closures, really most of the effects will be gone by Tuesday morning, and buses should be able to run pretty fine. Not expecting anything crazy there. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll try to get you answers to them as best as I can. And I'll be sure to keep an update on this as we move through tomorrow, when we'll start to get better details. We'll actually have observations from this system to compare it to, and we'll get you a better forecast in. So, but until then, thank you for listening. I'm Jordan Baumgartner. Talk to you next time.